spooky, scary spirits and aliens? Take that with a side of slice of life and a dash of fever dream-induced humor, and you get Dandadan. Dandadan blends it all into one gloriously chaotic ride. It's a show where psychic powers clash with alien abductions, where objects and even people go flying through the air, and where no scene is safe from going completely off the rails. In fact, this show sort of exists in a world where being on the rails is non-standard. Okay, well, this is a bit on the nose. But beneath all the madness, there's a story that keeps your feet on the ground. The relationship between two unusual suspects, Momo and Kin, better known as Okarun. Their connection has that kind of spark you can't help but appreciate. It's almost immediate, unforced, and oddly grounded considering the frankly absurd circumstances we find ourselves in as early as episode 1. Momo is a sharp-tongued, confident, and totally unfazed character, while Okarun is a bit of an awkward fellow, and is completely obsessed with the paranormal. On the surface, they seem to be from entirely different worlds, but from their very first interaction, it's clear they speak the same emotional language, even if neither of them know it yet. What makes their dynamic so compelling is how naturally it unfolds. There's not this massive build-up or a big moment where they decide to trust each other. It just happens. Between the running, the screaming, and the near-death experiences, these two start leaning on one another in a way that feels instinctive, emerging from shared chaos, mutual respect, and a whole lot of frantic yelling. Momo, who often presents herself as fearless and composed, gradually shows moments of uncertainty, and a certain level of softness that makes her more than just the cool girl archetype that she initially gives off. She worries deeply about the people around her, even if she's terrible at expressing it directly. Meanwhile, Okarun may be shy, but he's no pushover. He's smart, capable, and when the moment demands it, brave in a way that's hard not to root for. The type of character who can easily step up for the sake of another. Together, they're endlessly entertaining. Their banter feels quick-witted and realistic, like two people who challenge each other constantly but always have each other's backs at the same time. Their back-and-forth teases don't just provide comic relief, they reveal a trust that deepens with every ridiculous battle with the supernatural. There's a real joy in watching them bounce between intense battles and casually roasting each other like they've been friends forever. And that joy is enhanced by how visually expressive the show is. Dandadan's animation is wild in the best way. Fluid, hyper-stylized, and completely unafraid to go off-model for the sake of a gag or an emotional beat. But it's not just about spectacle. There's just as much attention paid to the quiet, expressive moments. The flicker of worry on Momo's face, the way Okarun's eyes widen when she's in danger, or that slightly too long pause when one of them says something unexpectedly sincere. The show understands that real emotional impact often lives in the margins, not just the explosions. And while the emotional stakes give the series its depth, Dandadan's humor is what makes it stick. The comedy here is sharp, unpredictable, and genuinely funny. Whether it's Okarun flailing through an embarrassing misunderstanding, Momo trying and failing to act cool under pressure, or an absurdly timed one-liner, the show never takes itself too seriously. Even the background characters get moments to shine comedically. As the story unfolds, Momo and Okarun's relationship doesn't just affect them, it starts to shape the people around them too. Characters like Seiko, Ira, and Gigi don't just enter the picture as side players, they're pulled into the gravitational field of Momo and Okarun's bond. Seiko, Momo's psychic grandmother. Wait, that's her grandmother? Yeah, this revelation was probably a moment of awakening for many people viewing. Not me, but somebody, I'm sure. But even Granny Seiko immediately meshes with the goofiness that is Momo and Okarun's dynamic. Ira, whose true self she keeps hidden, gradually starts showing vulnerability, and as she spends more time with them, it becomes more clear that she cares about them as well. And Gigi finds in them something resembling a sense of normalcy, even if his definition of normal is questionable at best. And let's not forget about Turbo Granny, who now seems to be on the path of traversing a true tsundere arc with the influence of those around her. It's obvious how the others begin resembling the pieces of that core relationship. Momo and Okarun's honesty and mutual trust start to ripple outward, giving the whole group a sort of found family vibe. They're weird, they're chaotic, and half of them might be spirits, spiritually possessed, or otherwise, but they found people who get them. That emotional infectiousness turns Dandadan from a two-character show into a full ensemble where everyone's growth feels tied to something real. What's especially refreshing about their relationship is how mutual it really feels. Neither character is leading the story while the other follows along, they're both essential. Momo may have the louder personality, but she doesn't overshadow Okarun. And Okarun may be more reserved, but his presence is never entirely passive. They're equals, growing at their own pace while also subconsciously pushing each other to be better. That kind of emotional give and take feels special, especially in anime where one character is often reduced to being the support for the other's arcs. And yes, there's tension, but the good kind. They blush, they stammer, they misread each other just enough to keep things interesting, but the story doesn't treat that as a gimmick. Instead of dragging out unnecessary drama, excluding comedic sequences of course, Dandadan focuses on what's more rewarding, watching two people actually connect amid the insanity of their world. The emotional core isn't built on longing glances or manufactured jealousy, it's built on shared experiences and the weird comfort of knowing you found someone who gets it. Even when it involves lewd grandmas and sumo wrestling yokai, but this emotional core would turn into an emotional snore if their voices didn't match the part. And it goes without saying that the voice acting performances are top-notch in Dandadan. Between Momo's emphatic huhs and screams, and even Okarun's sudden mood changes depending on his current confidence levels, the show has greatly benefited from their performances. It really leads to an easy listening experience. Dandadan proves that you don't have to sacrifice emotional depth to make room for humor, horror, or action. In fact, it's the emotional grounding between characters like Momo and Okarun that give the craziness its impact. Their relationship makes the absurdity matter. Because when a show trusts its characters to grow together, rather than orbit around each other forever, it invites the audience to invest in something more than just the next plot twist. So yes, Dandadan is bizarre, it's loud, messy, and gloriously over the top, but it's also sincere, character-driven, and brimming with emotional charm. And that's largely thanks to Momo and Okarun. Whether you're watching for the ghost fights, the alien lasers, or just to see what on earth is going to happen next, it's their bond that makes the show stick. And as their relationship deepens with each new episode, so too does the show's heart. Whatever weirdness lies ahead, one thing is certain. Dandadan has already proven that even in the most alien of stories, it's the human connection that hits the hardest. Thanks everyone for joining me in this journey, and if you liked what you saw, a like or a sub goes a long way to helping me make more videos like this in the future. And if you want to see the videos I've already made, I'll leave a link to my video essay playlist in the description below. And with that said, I look forward to seeing you there, fellow anime lovers. Bye bye for now.